really could be it right here. Attention, air traffic control. This flock of Eagles is heading to New Orleans.
How we doing, everybody? So I had that not muted on my end. So what's up? Friday night hangout. We are here. Sorry, I was a little bit 5 minutes behind. Just having to get caught up here. Some people saying to get hyped every time you see the video. Yeah, again, as always, shout out to the Eagles social team. They've been doing some incredible stuff with those hype videos, and we've actually seen several others from other individuals. But let's start out with a super chat here. I saw this one earlier. Apologies as I was just getting on here from LA Kid. Appreciate that. The 10 says feeling more and more confident about the bowl as the days go by. Getting the passing game going, feed Saquon, get Vic and the defense to execute, and we win the game. Everyone just has to check their box. I agree, which we will get into. The squad has a huge opportunity, chance to do something special. This is a completely different team, even if the outside public, I suppose, the national media, certainly maybe some Kansas City fans, are feeling like this team is similar to what it was in 2022. Because it's not. We know that it's not. But, you know, we have a lot of people that maybe not follow the Eagles as closely or see the numbers and say, well, yeah, but you guys had 70 sacks in 22. How can it not be the same level of defensive play? And we're just starting defensively. You could talk about the offense. But it's a different squad, different team. So, LA Kid, appreciate that, dude. Means a lot, as always. I will say, also, before we get into the other topics, shout out to Underdog, as always, as well, official sponsor of the channel. Scan the QR code, use code Philly Special, get up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Right now, they have a Super Bowl special, too, so if you're looking to get down on that, it is a no-sweat, free play. It's up to $15, but you put it in, you can pick 7 picks, I believe, or maybe even more than that. Just max it out, go crazy, go for broke. And if you win it, great, good for you. If you don't win it, they're going to give you that money back in promo funds, so at least you don't fully lose it there. But again, use code Philly Special, scan the QR code. If you are in Philly or other locations that don't allow the pick'em option, then you still can get bonuses and promos. It's just not for the pick'em there, but they do have the draft leagues, so crazy promos and discounts also for the draft. Anyway, shout out to Underdog. Appreciate them. As I mentioned that, we're going to be giving away the signed Saquon Barkley helmet. Let's not spam here with too many comments. I'm seeing lots of those. I will get to the comments, but with no need to go like Eagles fan for life. I'm seeing a ton of those. So just, let's chill just a bit. I see those comments. We're going to get the Saquon helmet a little bit later too. So for people wondering, as long as they were in on that side. But let me get to some of the chat as well, because I'm just getting here a little bit late. And yes, also, yeah, you know what? I'll say this too before. Thoughts and prayers. I did see that the plane crash in Philly. Thoughts and prayers. Just some wild stuff going on. Like the DC. I don't know if they're connected in any way, but just like the plane crash there, plane crash in Philly. So, absolutely, thoughts and prayers. We talk about football. Let's just say that, like, this channel is for football, but the number of people that have reached out just for other things and other reasons, I want you guys to know that first and foremost, football's a game, so it's not as important. But yeah, what's going on there? Absolutely. So very much thoughts and prayers. I don't know why that's happening, but it is definitely very sad to see. Vince with a 10, appreciate that, Vince. Says, let's see, super fly Eagles flies. I don't know if that's a super fly Eagles fly in, what is that, T-9? 9 days? Is it 9? Yeah, it's 9 days. Okay. Super fly Eagle flies, T-9, I think. I'll take that. I appreciate that, Vince. I'm sorry if I butchered it. Maybe I'm not reading it correctly. I think that's what it is. Not as great with the abbreviations, I suppose. But yeah, we got some Some other Candy says, wow, the whole world's got the Chiefs beating us. It seems like there's a lot of people that are picking that. I don't know that a lot of people want that to happen. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I feel like there's been a decent amount of, I think I mentioned this in the Wednesday link whenever I was recording with Thomas, but there's been a decent amount of Cowboys fans who have told me that they're like, no, I don't want the Chiefs to win. Like, I would prefer for you guys to win, which is saying a ton. I don't know. Are there people in the chat that if, let's just, curiosity, if you were to flip this thing and say, I know it's idiotic because it wouldn't happen, but if it were to, hypothetically speaking, if Dallas were in the Super Bowl now, right? So if we said Dallas is in the Super Bowl versus the Chiefs, could you root for Dallas? Are you like, are you I don't know, is the Kansas City hate to that extreme, to that level where you could be cheering for? I could not. I'm just interested if there's anybody to that extreme, because there have been legit Cowboys fans that have told me that, and I appreciate it. I'm like, hey, thanks, man. That means a lot. That's good. That's more power to. Good on you. I'm seeing a bunch of no, hell no, nah, never, can't do it. No, good. Okay, that's what I expected. But I was just curious if I would see any yes at all. This is great. This is fantastic. See, this is how we know. Not that I was doubting it, but again, there's more absolute fandom for Eagles fans than there's just kind of like we're fans, but Jerry doesn't really care too much about Dallas's success. It's more the business and the show, and then it kind of shows its way in fans. So Ryan choose the Meteor. My gosh. Okay. It's fair. Yes, lots of Dallas sucks as well. Everything else, heck yeah. Okay, let me get to one of these. I'm sorry, I missed maybe one or two. So hang on, I will get to you. I'm seeing some of the comments. Membership as well. Where is that? Fly Eagles Fly. There we go. Fly Eagles Fly. Welcome to Hungry Dogs. I do see you there. Thank you for that. The support. Congrats. We did have the Zoom call, by the way, for the members at Hungry Dogs tier higher. So had that before the stream. Shout out to Matt and Russ. Hanging out there, holding it down. Marcus, member for 2 months, is Go Birds. Heck yeah, Marcus, baby. We are almost there in T-minus 9 seconds. I think I butchered it from Vince a second ago, but got it eventually. T-minus 9. We're getting close. Where's the other one? Oh, Marcus also gifted one membership. Who got that? That was Muhammad El-Amin, I believe. You got it. Congratulations. Thank you to Marcus for that one. Made that happen. Let's go. And I'm going to get the super chats also, but I'm making sure I didn't miss the other membership. I thought there was one. Hold on. Then we'll get into some of this news. Benji, they're used to rooting for other teams. That they are. This is the point of the year where they're completely, they're delusional at all times, but they're completely lost, don't know what's going on, and they're rooting for other teams. The McGinns, hopefully I said that correctly, with a 2, says Go Birds. Got another one for 2 with Go Birds as well. Thank you for that. Christopher with the 20 bomb. Starting off the Friday night. Let's go. Hope you're sipping on something nice there. Christopher's the Dallas Sucks. It's for sure the best super chat so far. Not just from the the monetary value, but it's the best one there. Dallas Sucks. Okay, I'm going to get to a Warriors Rage. I'll get to yours also in a second here. I'm going to see if we can make this happen. I'm going to, do I have that? Yeah, here we go. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this link here in the comments section for you. So long story short, there's Garage Beer, which I know a lot of people are familiar with. They tweeted out a little promo ad and said, who should we advertise with this next week for the Super Bowl? I responded to them. And I said, hey, I've got a free spot in one of the videos, or you should sponsor the live stream, right? Because we do the Super Bowl game stream, me and Thomas. They did like it. I just have not heard back from them. So if you feel so inclined, please do not kill yourself doing this. Don't strain yourself. But if you feel so inclined, there's a link right there. And you could click it. It will take you to that tweet of theirs. If you have Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, and just feel free. Tag me in it and say, hey, you should sponsor Josh's or at the PHI special live stream. You don't have to. I'm just curious. Maybe we can force their hand a little bit. It would be nice if they wanted to be the official sponsor during the game. I don't know. We'll see. It would just be cool. So anyway, we will move on. As I get this super chat from a Warriors Rage, appreciate the 5, said the NFL controls media coverage. All media choosing the Chiefs seems like a psyop to limit people's accusations of cheating. No one gives us a shot. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of narrative in there. I'm not going to deny that one bit. Everybody, I think, believes it. Everybody thinks it. The spamming looks like it will be stopped as well. So I can just warn people. I think that was Eagle. I saw the comment earlier. Eagle fan for life. Yeah, I think that got a little bit too much. Just chill out. I've got to get to those comments. But Eagle won the 20 Baun for Philly Special Show memberships. Let's go. Matt, dude, appreciate that. Everybody getting on it. Lots of memberships. You got access to the emojis as well. Your boy Wayne asking what jerseys are we wearing. Telly, how's it going? What's up? See the comment there. Sorry, I saw this earlier. I was just trying to get to it. But let's see. Did you see the video of Eagles and Commanders fans at the tailgate cheering Dallas sucks? It gave me goosebumps. Which video? Maybe I might have missed that, actually, if there was another one. So I apologize. I might need the link, quite honestly. It was good to see at the tailgate. I'll say that. The NFC Championship game was absolutely lit, as everybody knows, whether you were there or not. Completely. Noah's Football Edit, what's up, man? Give a little shout out there. I don't know if I saw that, but what's up? Ryan, I did not order a Super Bowl jersey yet. Lots of people saying midnight green. It can't be Kelly green. I think the question more so was like, who are you going to rep for the Super Bowl? I think that was the direction that it was going. Okay, yeah, that Dallas Sucks video. They were catching strays. Okay, well, I need to check it out then. I'm going to probably go with the Nolan. I'll just say that. Last time I wore A.J. Brown. I wore A.J. Brown to the NFC Championship game against the Niners in 22. It worked, and then I wore it in the Super Bowl. It did not work. So we reversed this thing, or I guess fast forward it. Wore A.J. Brown for the NFC Championship game. It worked, but now I will not be wearing A.J. Brown because, it doesn't work for the Super Bowl. So now I need to do something else. I got a Nolan Smith jersey. That's probably what I'm going to wear. Some people saying Barkley. Some people saying Coop. The midnight green. Yes, the midnight green is what they're wearing. And I don't think that was the question. I think it was, where do you go with? Cody B, the 5, says, let's go Birds. I have a feeling my wife might be in labor during the game. Oh my gosh, is the due date? This is the due date that close? Dylan, yes, bro. Okay, so Dylan says, yeah, you got to rep Nolan Smith. Seems to get a sack every game. I wear it. He's gotten a lot of sacks recently. So the odds are. But yes. Dino, I appreciate that. Said you tagged me in both. Heck yeah, appreciate it. Everybody else who tagged as well in the Garage Beer tweet. There's the link again in the comments if you want to. No pressure. Just throwing that one out there again. Okay, so officially we'll start with the injury report. I'll get to some of the other chats as well. Lots of Jalen Carter, by the way. Jalen Carter jersey, Devontae Smith, Isaac, Allie going with Barkley. Philly 420 dude is QB1. Wendell Devontae as well. Kelly Green BG for base set Berto. Elias wants to get a Coop jersey. Those things are flying off the shelves. Let me just say that. I was talking to Matt earlier. We got a Cooper to Gene, like as soon as it came out at the pro shop, they got a restock. And like 4 or 5 hours later, tried to go back, completely sold it. I mean, there was a couple of double, triple X. Marcus going with the Josh Sweat 94 vintage. Throw it back. Let's go. And then just Rob with an A.J. Brown for the Coop. It's always great to get mic'd up footage from players, isn't it? You get some extra behind-the-scenes access. Or how about Jordan Mailata's Baun? His, I didn't know it was going to break first, your spirit or your body. All right, I think I could get this or share this on the screen now. There we go. Yeah, that'll work for me. Perfect. Okay. Injury report, just in case people are curious. So the official one from today, earlier. If I can make this full screen. A lot of names. Hopefully you can see this. I will say, don't be concerned. If you have not seen this yet, don't freak out. We're good. We're good. I'll walk you through it. If you have, you already know that you're good. So lots of DNPs. Rest for a decent amount. Zack Baun is there with the groin. Not a big deal. Landon Dickerson still dealing with the knee. Did not practice. Kenny Gainwell, questionable, would be. And let me just say this too. So the biggest thing to pick up on here, regardless of did they practice or not, limited practice, full practice, is they still have to give a game status as if there was a game to be played on Sunday. So that's the biggest thing to check out and look at. So, right, Frank, most DNPs are resting. Some are there for injuries. But you see, if there was a game, Kenny Gainwell would be questionable. Britton Covey, who's still dealing with this random fluky neck injury, which feels like it's just a way to stash him, and if they need him, he could play, but if not, they'll just keep him stashed. I don't know. Would have been out. Wouldn't have played. Brandon Graham, questionable. Limited practice with the elbow. Technically, I guess, triceps. Maybe they have to say elbow on that one, but questionable. And then CJ Uzama, full practice, but questionable to play. No out. Like, out of Zack Baun, wouldn't even be questionable. He would have played. Dallas Goedert, Devontae Smith with a hamstring would have played. Cam Jurgens, all the guys. Like I said, Landon Dickerson. So positives all around. We're okay. Take this week. They're getting the game plan in. Review it next week. Practice, a little bit more. So you'll start seeing the guys get in full practices and everything like that. But, yeah, no concerns. Hey, what's up? Looks like AJ Brown is in the chat. I don't know if that's legit AJ Brown or there's just a different AJ Brown. But what's up, man? Hopefully it's legit you. Treated like a what did he say? Actors. I think that was his comment in the press conference. That's fair. VM, where did I get the light? The light there's a link in the description. It's like 3 times as expensive from whenever I first bought it. Thank you. Okay, Frank, I appreciate it. Thanks for checking. I was unsure. Yes, fake AJ Brown, not the real one. Michael with a 2 said I'm going to have or going with the a number 11 Tebow. Wow, that's it's a big time throwback. Okay, as long as whatever works, man. If it works, it's cool. You just gotta have the good vibes, good positive vibes with that one. So whatever brings us the ship, that's for sure. Wendell with a 5. Devontae Smith going to blow up back home. Go Birds. Yeah, he talked about it during the press conference too. So they had said big time to be playing there in general, to be back in Louisiana, close to family, comfortable. Dino Garage Beer already checked out the story and comment. Let's go. Okay, we're trying to get Garage Beer to happen. Dude, I appreciate it. If it happens, let's go. I'll make it up, everybody. Eagles fan for life. You're all good. You're all good. I saw your comment. You're fine. Just there's no need for 50 comments in a row, but you're good. Jorge is doing the Lord's work right here. Have not washed his sheets since week 4 because we've just, I guess, kept winning. I don't know at what point it kind of qualified to say that you don't have to. Because we did lose at one point there. I know there's an injury, but whatever's working, bro. That's some dedication right there, I guess. I don't know what to call that. LA Kid with a 5. I've not had my haircut since before the playoffs started. Not cutting it until the 10th. All right. Also, again, whatever it takes. The stash was staying for a long time. And then it did not. Somebody was asking, yes, we're going to give away the Saquon signed helmet a little bit later. So maybe in, I don't know, 15-ish minutes, something like that. we'll get into some of this other talk and news. In the meantime, there are people that are asking about this hoodie. There's several great options, by the way. So shout out to Die Hard Addicts if you've not checked it out. I'll put the link here in the comments. Also, for people watching it back, it'll be down in the description. Use code Philly Special, get 15% off. There's this hoodie. There's the Saquon jumping over Jerry and Jones. All sorts of different stuff. But go to that link. Like I said, use code Philly Special, get 15% off. Shout out to my guy Jordan and all the rest for hooking me up with the different fits. And there you go. Sweet. Okay. People are interested in the Saquon signed helmet, as I understand. If you have commented not in this video, all you had to do was comment in. Oh, Frank, I'm sorry, I missed it. If you commented or asked about the hoodie, my apologies. I try to get to those. I don't see all of them, unfortunately. But yes, if you commented on the game recap video, then you're good to go. You just had to have a comment on that video, got you entered, and you got a chance. Do we have a bunch of different Eagles players hopping on? Yeah. All right. So, next here, Kellen Moore. Let's get into it. Let me make sure and get the graphic up here for people that maybe have not seen. You guys are pretty well informed, though, so I feel like, this is just a hangout, talk about the news. But if you've not, all right. Here we go. So, this is much earlier today. So the first bit of news, I'll just scroll down. First bit of news that came out was Tom Pelissero and others. But the Saints plan to meet again with Eagles offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, of course, after the Super Bowl. After the Super Bowl. A strong sign that he's the top candidate, the team's head coaching for the team's head coaching job. Sources tell the insiders, which the insiders watch the show quite a bit because they try to claim content that's not theirs in the videos, but that's all another story. So that was the first tweet. And then, not long after, Tom follows up. It says, GM Mickey Loomis informed other candidates this morning that while there's been no final decision, he plans to continue discussions with Kellen Moore. Moore has been working on his staff, and he can't be officially hired until after the Super Bowl, and another meeting awaits. So, I mean, we could just say here at this point that at least I think that we get Kellen Moore is very likely to be gone. Like, let's be honest. I mean, as a former HR member in talent acquisition and doing that for many, many years, when you get to the point of the informed other candidates part of the job search, you pretty much have your decision. Like, you would not be letting them know, hey, we're going to talk with this other candidate. We're going to be moving him on to the next round, just to let you know. We haven't made a final decision, but we're going to move this person on and not you. Like, that is a pretty much done deal. Yeah, Jonathan says he's technically hired. That to me says he is all but hired, except they're making sure the NFL is not going to take a draft pick away. So that they're going to let an insider, right? Because Mickey Loomis is not being the one to tell the news, of course. But if an insider shares and say, hey, sources are saying that he's calling candidates, but he's not telling them that Kellen has the job, but it's just saying that, well, we're going to probably have a further conversation. He has the job. I don't know where they get necessarily. Again, it's to probably work in the news that it is an official done deal, but I don't know exactly where it's Kellen Moore working on his staff. Does that feel there's no really positive spin for that one for me? That's the part that I don't really want these distractions on. But yeah, Kellen is. I mean, I don't know what you want to put percentage on this one, but it's like a 95%. For me, it's like a 99% chance. The only thing is if you had a final conversation and Kellen maybe doesn't get quite the offer, but you almost imagine that there's a number in a roundabout way that they've already floated and been like, yeah, this is probably what it would be. So we'll see. There is the official news. Dash to the 6. Yeah, Kellen better focus. Yeah, he needs to. Lots of others now. Now, as long as he's focused on winning the big one, that's fine. It'll probably be Jalen, though, with another offensive coordinator. Let's just say that. Like, realistically, it'll probably be Jalen with his how many years is it? This is like what, 12 different play callers in 10 years? If we go back to, I think, high school, in 10 years, he's had 12 different play. It's just ridiculous. Like, the dude is nonstop every single year. Hey, Jalen, guess what? Who was calling plays last year will not be the same guy. I do. I feel bad for him because he said it when they hired Kellen Moore, and he goes like, "Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to building something. I want to make something my own." But we all knew this was going to be the case, right? So we had this conversation when Sirianni, which I'm not saying he should, by the way. Let's just say this, myself included, lots of us, we were wrong about Sirianni. Sirianni has completely righted the ship. He's got the backing of the players. Did a whole lot right, of course. The end justifies the means. You could say whatever, yes, but I'm not opposed to. I will admit that I was wrong, and I'm sure that there's a lot of others that maybe could say the same thing. Nonetheless, this is still the blessing and the curse of having a head coach like Sirianni. I'm not saying it's the wrong decision now because, again, you got here, but this will continue to happen unless you have the equivalent of a Vic Fangio as an offensive coordinator. Because guys are going to come here. They're going to have good seasons because they got so many different weapons. And then you're going to get guys like a Kellen Moore who are up and coming, maybe a hot candidate who can go take a job. So it is what it is. But yes, 99% sure that he is going to be on, whether you agree or don't agree. Should he, Mr. Chris, what's Frank Reich up to? Yeah, that's a potential name to throw out there. It would feel like the equivalent of Vic Fangio. All right, I'm going to get to the super chat, Marcus. Appreciate the 5. Actually, and we've got Anthony DeBona joining, it looks like. Let's go. Hey, the man himself. I was not sure if he'd be able to join, so we'll have him talk through this as well, because he's got some great breakdowns as far as potential candidates, so I know people are curious of like, hey, where's this thing go next? So let me get him on here. Marcus, I will get to your super chat as well as other people. I know I'm behind on a couple of those, but hang on. Let me get him set up here. Make sure everybody can still hear me okay. The last time that I went to these earbuds, people could not hear me, so just let's make sure. All right. I think I've got it. There we go. Okay, I could see Anthony. I've not added him into the stream yet, but I could see him. So let's go here if I can. Make sure that people are still able to see me.
We're good.
There we go. I can see. I can hear you. How about everybody else? Is the audio good? Can you hear? Can you see? Last time, remember, I butchered that because of putting the earbuds on. I think it's solid. I can hear you, so it would only
good. Am I clear? I don't know if I could. Am I good on this side? Good.
Yes. Yep.
Camera's clear.
Good to go.
Cool.
The man himself, Eagles writer, NFL. I don't know how I should phrase it. Really, the NFL account, it just is creeping on your profile these days. Just. Yeah, they can't spell DeBona, unfortunately, but they are still creepy.
Anthony DeBone, but hey, listen, I've heard that before, so it's not the first time.
Okay. Well, I don't know if you were listening. Obviously, going back and forth as far as the Kellen Moore news and everything. So people were curious about that, but we're getting there. I had a couple other super chats I was going to run through quickly. As Marcus with the 5 said, "Did you see Jerry and Jones' interview about the hurdle? He was awesome and a good sport. It makes me like that young man even more than I already do." There we go. I did not, Marcus, by the way. I did not get a chance to see that interview. I'd be curious now. I got to go check it out. But, he's a part of history.
The interview about what?
I guess Jerry and Jones was interviewed about the Saquon reverse hurdle.
No,
I just asked about it.
That.
So, yeah, I haven't seen it either. But it's cool that he's willing to talk about it. And it sounds like, I guess, according to Marcus, he's a good sport. So, I'm going to have to go check that out. I like it. I can appreciate it. Maybe that's why the Eagles didn't put Jones on the back of his jersey there. Who knows? In the shirt that they were giving away. So, Mr. Mono with a 2 says, "Did you / everyone pick up some Super Bowl merch?" I'm going to be honest. I have not yet. I don't think that you have either, right, Anthony? Because we were
So
texting
should I
about
tell
this.
them my conspiracy theory that I revealed to you? So
Sure, yeah.
for the people that don't know, I'm also a fan of the Boston Celtics, which might upset some people. But so I bought Eastern Conference Championship gear, like what was it, a year or two ago when they played the Warriors in the finals, and ultimately they lost that year. So then I was like, you know what? If they make it again, I'm not going to buy anything unless they win. And then sure enough, they made it against the Mavs last season. I didn't buy anything and they won. So this time around, I'm following that same path and I'm not buying anything in advance. Although I did tell Josh, hey, I really like those conference championship hats, but I'm holding off for now because
Mm-hmm.
also usually if you wait a little bit, the conference championship stuff goes on sale and then the Super Bowl stuff usually if regardless if they win or lose, that usually goes on sale as well. Obviously the winner stuff will be more expensive, but you're better off holding off a little bit because the stuff, especially with Fanatics, is probably not going to get there in time anyway. So you're better off just waiting a little bit and either saving yourself some money or buying the real good stuff if they win it all.
There we go. Yes, and that's the benefit. Yeah, like you say, just make sure it happens. It's whatever works. Quite honestly, I mean, we said this a number of times, but it's like, people wearing different jerseys. You got to go to for whatever it takes to win. So I'm right there with you. I'm fine. I have not, for that reason, I have not bought a jersey or any memorabilia, I suppose, of Super Bowl. But once it happens, some people say if, some people say when, but once it happens, then it's going to be. I'm gonna have to get like approval from my wife to like continue spending on it, but like it'll be a lot dropped on it probably.
Max out that credit card.
It depends on which one we go to.
When the Eagles won that first Super Bowl, I wore that locker room hat till I couldn't wear it anymore, and now I'm upset because you can't find them anywhere. So, and that same hoodie that you have that you wear sometimes for the videos,
Yeah,
I had that same one, and I don't know if it got lost while we moved or something like that, but it was super comfortable, and I just can't find it, and you're not gonna be able to find it anymore. So.
oh yeah.
Whenever you can buy stuff, buy it, hoard it, and hold on to it.
Yeah, legit. Yeah, it is one of the best. It's super comfortable, like you say. It's really like high quality hoodie, and I bought that thing as soon as we won. You get the commercials that start happening. It's like, hey, the Eagles. It's like the first one playing. The Eagles have won the Super Bowl. Here, buy this. It's like, yes, take my money immediately.
That's it. Take it all.
NS Reg, this is off on a tangent. I'm not going to talk about this 2-1, but we will eventually. Said, not sure if you're going to see this, but we have got to take a look at Mike Green for this year's draft. Dude is a beast. Yes, he is. We're not fully transitioning into off-season talk and draft talk and everything else. We will absolutely have that. And not to put you on the blast too much, but Anthony's a little bit of a sicko whenever it comes to that because you go to the extreme of like, should we focus on the Super Bowl or there's so much already with the Senior Bowl, and it feels a little bit strange to not be talking about it. But, like that's the luxury where the Eagles are. But, and that's right. I saw your comment. Yes, we will talk about guys. There's several on the radar. And as everybody knows, I mean, nobody gets past Anthony. He's going to have the full list of players
I'm ready to jump in
already.
and talk about him. But yeah, so he led the country, 17 sacks. Not going to go too crazy with it.
Yep.
But yeah, he dominated the Senior Bowl. Didn't even have to stay the whole time. I think he practiced for just a couple days and then left because he was like so good. He's kind of cemented himself as a first rounder, it seems like. But I also don't know if the Eagles are going to necessarily take an edge that high, especially with how well Nolan Smith and Jalen Hunt have looked. So it seemed like a couple months ago that was going to be like a major need, but now they might have the luxury of kind of waiting for that. But wait a couple weeks for draft talk. But I'm ready for it. I'm getting ready for it.
Oh, absolutely, yes. And we have the combine preparation and who to watch there and all the other stuff. Oh yeah. But he was making noise, making headlines for sure with the viral clips. I was noticing that. So, a Warriors Rage with Fives. I think it's Reich. Getting back to the OC talk. So, said he makes sense because he's still making $8 million a year for the next few years. He'll be in a Kingsbury situation and be stable. So. I'm going to open it up here because we were texting about this a decent amount over the last couple of days, certainly today. And so, I mentioned the news for everybody else, people just joining, not catching it. Kellen Moore, the job is basically his in New Orleans. You can phrase it however you want to. He is going to be with the Saints, barring some sort of miraculous swoop in by, I don't know, the Eagles to offer him a crazy amount of money, and even then it still feels like. So with that being said, the next step after the Super Bowl, but the next step after the Super Bowl becomes who is the Eagles offensive coordinator, and also who is the Eagles quarterback coach, because you've been following it very closely and tweeted out. If people are not, make sure to follow at Debona NFL, not at Debona NFL, but at Debona NFL. But Doug Nussmeier, been with Kellen at a lot of different places. His son, Junior, at LSU, quarterback there, Garrett Nussmeier. It makes all the sense of the world for him to go with Kellen Moore if that does happen. So playing a hypothetical game, it feels very realistic the way this news has transpired. But in your mind, Anthony, you had a great article for people watching this back on delay. I will post a link in the description. But what do you think? What do you think about Wright, about other candidates? What option do you think the Eagles should at least take a look at?
Yeah, it's funny because like if you look just a year or two ago when they lost Shane Steichen to the Colts, it kind of felt like Brian Johnson was just immediately handed the job. Like they already kind of had like that in-house replacement. And also they were kind of stuck because it was so late in the offseason. They didn't really have a ton of other options that they could really look at. But at the same time, given how well Jalen Hurts had played that season, it felt like they had to hand it to Brian Johnson. Obviously that didn't work out. They had a little bit more options the following year because people saw how much talent Philadelphia had. So I'm sure I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these guys that are interviewing now, if they're kind of like prolonging the process for a week or so, because these spots in Jacksonville and other spots haven't necessarily been filled yet. And I'd be wondering if I was an agent for one of these guys, I'd say, listen, Philadelphia, I know Howie Roseman said he wanted to turn it into a quarterback factory, but now it's kind of turned into like an offensive coordinator factory where Shane Steichen landed a job. It seems like New Orleans has all but said officially that Kellen Moore is going to be their head coach, and that was after just one season in Philadelphia. So it seems like if I was an agent for one of these coaches, I'd say, hey, listen, hold off a little bit, see if we can get this job in Philly if it opens up, and it seems like it will. So they should have their choice of a lot of options. It seems like there are still quite a few out there, like whether they want to either promote somebody in-house or if they want to hire one of these young up-and-coming guys or like a veteran, like you said, like Frank Reich. There's plenty of options for them, but I mean, I don't know if you want me to run down the whole list of names, but I mean, a couple of the ones that I really like, Nate Scheelhaus, who they interviewed actually back in 2022. And he, at the time, it seemed like people thought it was just Nick Sirianni doing his friend Matt Campbell a favor because Scheelhaus was still with Iowa State at that time. But then sure enough, he joined Sean McVay's staff. He actually served as his official title is offensive assistant and passing game specialist. But he's also, the most notable thing is he's Sean McVay's play drawer, which is basically the guy that takes all of Sean McVay's ideas and kind of puts it all into a game plan, draws the plays out, the concepts, things like that. So he hasn't necessarily called the plays at this level, but that exact spot was also held by Bengals head coach Zack Taylor, now Jaguars head coach Liam Cohen, and Falcons offensive coordinator Zach Robinson. So it seems to have quite a trend of producing really high caliber coaches. So if they can kind of get ahead of that and get Scheelhaus in, and like I said, he has that tie to Matt Campbell, who's a close friend of Nick Sirianni. They played together in college. So there's clearly a relationship there. So I feel like if they do want to go with that younger guy, he would be my number one target in that regard. They obviously showed interest in Jerry Johnson last year, the Houston quarterback coach. I know CJ Stroud had a down year, but they showed interest in him last offseason, and he's another guy that can be in play. Josh McCown, everybody in Philadelphia is aware of Josh McCown. Bobby Slowick was fired by the Texans, and it's weird because just a year ago, it seemed like he was one of the hottest names in the NFL. And now after one season, he was fired. And so that was kind of weird. But two other names that I didn't list in the article that have kind of caught my eye and that I would think about now is Tavita Pritchard, who's the Commanders quarterback coach. He was one of the only holdovers from the previous staff that Dan Quinn kind of kept around. And obviously, after the year that Jaden Daniels had, and even how Marcus Mariota looked in limited snaps, I feel like you would have to give him a look. But one notable thing about Pritchard in particular, he was at Stanford when Tanner McKee was there, and he was the OC and quarterback coach there. So, I mean, I'm not saying that Tanner McKee is going to be quarterback one in Philadelphia, but the fact that he has kind of a person in Philadelphia that can kind of, I guess, like recommend him or say good or bad things about him. And obviously the job that he's done in Washington alone has kind of stood for itself. And then Grant Udinski is kind of the whiz kid, only 28 years old from the Vikings that I think he's had like 4 or 5 interviews at this point for OC jobs. I don't know if he'll actually get one, but he seems like the hot up and coming name that everybody's trying to pump up. And then obviously the veteran names that people know already, Frank Reich, Mike McCoy is another one that he's the Jaguars quarterback coach, but he was the head coach with the Chargers when Sirianni worked there as well. So I would even look to him as kind of a quarterback coach potentially to go along with one of these younger guys that they hire them, because he has that background. And then obviously the relationship with Sirianni. Ken Dorsey's another one, Eric Bieniemy, and then Anthony Lynn is also another guy that it's a veteran head coach. He was a head coach in San Diego that helped, that kept Sirianni actually there for one season when he became the head coach there. So he's another one. He's also in Washington. So anytime you can kind of fill a hole on your staff and take away from a division rival, that would also help. So there's plenty of options there.
Oh yeah, millions of options. I'd love to the breakdown for all the different names there, because there's tons of those, and lots of people have opinions. I'm seeing some Eric Bieniemy, some absolutely not for Eric Bieniemy, some of Reich, of Doug Peterson. A couple comments on where did I see? Oh, Brian Johnson to OC again. J62 Moon with a 2, appreciate that, says, ask Jalen if the playbook is still 95% different. I guess so. Steichen was a name that was thrown out there, which I've seen a couple different times. And I think it's just the idea that he was maybe going to be let go, or just the rumor that had been started, but like he's sticking as the head coach. I think I saw a couple comments as well, but
maybe next offseason, if whoever they hire this season is
you wait and just say, all right, hey, come on back to Philly, baby. We need somebody that is gonna, you go back and forth on this. Like, look, if you could get someone who and this is, you don't, because this is the whole point of like the whole coaching search, and you're hoping, you're betting on it, but all this. But like, if you knew that whoever's going to come in is going to be like a Ben Johnson, right? Like just some sort of creative innovator genius who's going to have all these really good plays and capitalize on the offense, all that. You would sign up for it, sure. Even if you knew that there's an opportunity here, because we talked about this as soon as they hired Kellen Moore. You and I did live streams, recorded videos, everything, and even on Twitter. It's like, the part that you deal with and that you live with is if the trade-off is getting Kellen Moore and it's only for 1 year, is if you win the Super Bowl. Everyone's going to say, cool, that's fine. That worked out. If you don't win the Super Bowl, it's kind of a failure. Like, I know you got to the Super Bowl. You could make the case and be like, yeah, but it's a really successful season. But man, the restart of this thing, to not only lose your offensive coordinator and lose your quarterback coach, if we don't win the Super Bowl, you're like, it's the whole thing over again, and it's going to keep happening. So, like, the part where I would go into is, it would be nice, it'd be great. Thankfully, Vic Fangio is here long term. He's not looking for a head coaching gig, all that. Do you try to get an OC who's going to stick around for like 3, 4, or 5 years, doesn't have those aspirations? Or do you go with the hot name? Because I could argue that Bobby Slowick, I get that he was fired for some reasons of not having a good offense, but as you've said multiple times and, brought up even in the past, is like, it's not exactly all on him. Sure, the offense had its struggles, but like, the O-line issues, and you had some injuries to receivers throughout the year, just a lot of different adversity that they fought through. And not that, coordinators can't be able to be better than that and elevate the offense, but he did some really good things in CJ Stroud's first year. So it would be interesting. But again, if he has a year like Kellen Moore did here, it's this whole same story a year from now. So you go back and forth on it. I don't know.
It's honestly like a gift and a curse, because there are plenty of teams that would wish they had the offensive success, or even the team success that the Eagles have had in recent years, and had to deal with changes that offensive coordinator. So you kind of have to put yourselves in the shoes of those other teams that are looking for head coaches and not looking for new offensive coordinators. Because luckily, even if they lose Kellen Moore, or in the future, next season, if they lose somebody else, like, the foundation of the team is still there with Nick Sirianni and like his mentality, how he talks to the team. Jeff Stoutland obviously is the big one, because that running game on the offensive line is kind of where everything starts, and everything else is kind of built off of that. So if you kind of have those two there, I feel like you can kind of just plug in anybody at offensive coordinator and they'll find success. Maybe not Brian Johnson, but that was more of a defensive thing and turnovers and things. So, overall, I don't know. I think they're good either way. I don't know if they have to. I know people want them to just get that older guy where you don't have to worry about them either getting hired away because they failed as a head coach, which they might do. They might think, hey, listen, we've had a little bit too much turnover now. Jalen Hurts has made comments about it in the past, although he's able to kind of overcome it every time, it seems like. But I'm sure he would love to have a guy like Frank Reich or Mike McCoy or even Anthony Lynn, where they've been head coaches in the NFL already, didn't do so well or didn't last wherever, like, and now they can kind of just ride it out into the sunset and kind of like be the offensive coordinator of Philadelphia for a couple of years. But then again, you could also get that guy and his concepts are a little outdated. It just doesn't work. He doesn't mesh with Sirianni. Like, there are so many different things that play into it. So, I mean, either way they go, I think they'll be fine, but they're going to have a good amount of candidates regardless, just because of how like prestigious this opening is and how talented the players they have on the roster are.
Yeah. I mean, that's for sure. Obviously, with the talent, like you say. Several different comments again of Frank Reich. I see those. I also see the spam comments of a lot of those, which, again, if you continue to do the same comment, I'm not going to read it. You're probably going to get put in timeout. In flight 215. I see you. Let's see. There was also, where was the other one? I may have missed it. Yeah, I might have missed that comment. Telly, though, was saying, yeah, I'm learning more about NFL coach hiring game. Does the OC and QB coach always come linked, or is that unique to Kellen Moore? It's not always, but, you know, it's a relationship business, I guess, like everything, really. But, you know, if you're comfortable with one as an OC QB coach, it makes a whole lot of sense. So that one in particular, Kellen and Nussmeier have been together at, like we said, multiple stops. So it just seems to reason you're going to say, all right, he probably will move on. And then you take your quarterback coach, maybe he becomes offensive coordinator, or he still sticks, but you're still going to give him a promotion in that sense. So I don't know. Do you have a actually, let me get this super chat here, and then I'll ask. Abram, appreciate the 5 says, fun facts, Eagles are 1-0, soon to be 2-0 when Carson Wentz is watching his backup quarterback play in the Super Bowl. Also, look at the Ray Lewis and BG Super Bowl comparison. Yes, that is accurate, I guess. There's a good way to look at all sorts of stats. I did the Ray Lewis comparison to BG and the triceps, and, you know, he maybe hopefully able to make an impact. I guess we'll see. He looked fairly promising at practice so far. Doesn't need to take away snaps from anybody, but yeah, who doesn't love BG getting back out there?
I mean, it's going to be the best. I mean, the fact that, like, the way he was playing before he got hurt, the guy had 2.5 sacks in his last 3 games. Like, it's not like some comeback story where they're just pushing it and he was a bum and he's just an older player. They kind of just want to almost treat him like I don't know, like a kid at the end of the bench, like a Rudy moment where you're just trying to like throw him. Like, no, he's legitimately good, and if he can play, it's like a legitimate like addition to this team, especially against the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, a team that he's played against before. Like, Brandon Graham, he's not just like an old guy that they're just leaning on him mentally and helping out the young guy. He could play, and he's going to have an impact, and he gives them kind of different looks that they can use, where they can use him on the interior as well. So he's obviously I think he would take away a couple snaps or all of the snaps from Bryce Huff, and then whoever else, probably a little bit of Jalen Hunt. But I don't see him taking away any snaps from Nolan Smith. I feel like Nolan Smith's kind of cemented himself as like that top edge rusher in Philadelphia and like the most versatile of them all as well. So the fact that he can play, and I feel like he's going to come back and tell everybody, like, listen, this is my last game. Like, I'm pushing through it from like, for you guys, you need to come through for me. And like, it's going to definitely be a crazy moment if they can win it all, and he can kind of just ride off into the sunset with a Super Bowl victory. I know he's talked about coming back regardless, but if he can come back and play through this, I feel like this is the perfect moment for him to kind of retire and call it quits for the Eagles. Oh,
without a doubt. Yes. Yeah. I mean, storybook inning, best way, able to play, you know, if he does, even if it's just a very limited snaps, but yeah, who wouldn't love that? Somebody was saying a second ago, I missed the individual comment, but yeah, how great would it be if Nolan Smith has a similar play to BG, like a strip of Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl? That would be pretty legit. I might pass out, but it would be so legit, and it would be going crazy on the stream. Yeah, got to do the celebration too. I'm trying to get that ready for you can't see it, the roll of dice. Trying to get that on the emojis, by the way. I got the Saquon ones finally up there a couple weeks ago, but you had a great idea, which I think I'm gonna go with. I just haven't gotten it done yet, but you just have the number 3, and then you have the dice, and it's a clean look. Who wouldn't love that? Roll the dice.
There you go. The three inside of the dice. I think people would love it, and it feels like he's bound to get a sack. He's gotten one in every postseason game that he's played in, right? So people will be able to fire that up once he gets that sack. So
fantastic. Okay, back to the OC, because we got one from Tyler here. Unpopular name nobody is talking about, but former Cowboy Mike McCarthy. Maybe not a popular choice. may not be looking for a job, but interesting take. So Tyler is throwing out the idea of Mike McCarthy, who did say that he's waiting until the 2026, or I guess according to reports, 2026 hiring cycle, maybe pick his spot then perhaps. But I mean, I would say no, because I think he has more aspirations. First off, he has more aspirations. I don't know that he would do that even at all, but you know that you'd be in the exact same boat as far as him going that direction. And I don't know. It's just not the name that gets me that excited really to say, oh, hey, there's your OC with Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, it seems like we'd kind of be like in the middle of like, seems like he'd be like an older guy that shouldn't really be looking for another like head coaching opportunity. But he's already made that clear according to reports that he's kind of following the same path as like a Doug Peterson or Mike Vrabel, where he's going to sit out one more season and see what happens in 2026. So the fact that already came out, I feel like that already ruled him out. That's why I didn't mention him at all. And I just don't know if it would be the greatest fit either. But a guy that's been a head coach so recently, bringing him in as like the OC where he has to just like do whatever Nick Sirianni says and kind of like, I don't know, he was just facing the guy and now he would be his OC. It's different than Kellen Moore, because Kellen Moore wasn't a head coach and then coming to work on Nick Sirianni. He was kind of coming off being like let go with Los Angeles and then looking for an opportunity. Saw it's such a talented roster. So it's like Mike McCarthy kind of thinks his record kind of speaks for itself, and then a year off will kind of make people reconsider it. And there's going to be, I'm sure, plenty of promising openings next season that he can kind of look into.
Yeah. And I mean, it kind of sounds like the Cowboys had interest in bringing it back, but he didn't really. He was like, I don't know. I don't know what doesn't take that place. So it's
that whole situation is insane.
Who doesn't love that?
Jerry Jones refusing to open his wallet once again, just like he didn't want to sign Derrick Henry.
Yep.
Just countless. But if you question him, he'll attack you. So be careful.
Yep. And then he says in his press conference, he's like, I manage well. I was like, I want people to know this. I manage well. I do a good job at this. It's like, okay, well, it's, by what definition of good job? But you just keep believing that, the delusional aspect of it.
He was getting all like teary eyed. He's like, who told me this is not a thorough process? So, like they interviewed like 3 people. Like, what are you talking about?
It's greatness. Is it Nalu? I believe I say that correctly. Welcome to Let's Run It Tier. Let's go. Got the membership, access to the custom emojis, like I was mentioning a second ago. And also, where was that one? Drew Gordon, member for 4 months, says Anthony under the radar player. Under the radar player. This matchup, I guess, with a question. So maybe an under the radar player to watch for like matchups. If it's just putting you on the spot, but we're a week away.
I was putting my game preview stuff to the side for this week, but
I kind of thought we were as well.
If I had to think about it, I mean, I know he's not underrated for us, but I feel like a guy like Cooper DeJean is going to have a huge impact in this game, because I mean, he might not be the marquee name that like Darius Slay or Quinyon Mitchell are to like the national media, but I think people are going to quickly learn how impactful Cooper DeJean is in the Super Bowl, because I think the Kansas City is going to try and attack the Eagles a little bit more horizontally and kind of spread the field out that way with their screens and their quick passes. And the fact that Cooper DeJean, we saw how well he did in the NFC Championship game, where it seemed like he knew when Washington's screens were coming and he was there basically when the ball got there. So I think he's going to make a couple of those plays and kind of stand out a little bit more than people are expecting. Maybe even finally get that first interception. Would be a great spot to get it.
Come on now. I thought he was going to get it in the NFC Championship game, and then he's just kind of go up there and like knock it down.
That was a crazy play too, though. Like,
yeah, that's true. It was a good.
It's just
good play.
It's just insane the fact that like all season long it felt like we were talking about like how great him and Quinyon Mitchell were, but they just weren't able to get that interception. And now Quinyon Mitchell already has 2. Cooper DeJean's come close a couple of times. Like doing so in the Super Bowl on his birthday, like you couldn't write it any better than that.
No, you could not. No. It's, him and Saquon too. The fact that they both have the birthdays and they're both in the Super Bowl, like it is.
And Andre Sam, don't forget about Andre Sam.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yes, Andre Sam as well. I should not forget. But yes, it would be the storybook as far as that goes. I don't know if you officially answered this, so to put you on the spot as well with the OCs. Do you have a favorite, like out of all the options that you listed out? Do you have a number one favorite that you would hire based on knowledge? We don't obviously get to interview these guys, but just their resumes themselves. I know you've taken a look because, again, you walked through tons of candidates with us, but so far, like who would you go with your number one choice?
So I have like I feel like they fall in those two categories. So you have like the young and up and coming guy that you might lose in a year, or like the older guy that should stick around. So if that regard, I think Nate Shieldhouse would be my young and up and coming guy. I feel like he's clearly the best one. The fact that the Eagles have like showed interest in him, I feel like he's a perfect fit for Philadelphia. And then Frank Reich would be the other one for like the older guy to target. But if I had like a dream combination, I would say Nate Shieldhouse as the OC and then Mike McCoy as the quarterback coach. I think that would be like a perfect pairing because Mike McCoy has experience as a head coach, OC, quarterback coach, and then Shieldhouse is kind of that like younger guy that's coming up that has experience from the college level, had experience for one season under McVay, and I feel like we'd be like the perfect combination of both.
Okay, I like it. I was curious too which direction. So, you have both directions, and again, we have lots of takes on both sides there. Eric, I see the super chat. Appreciate the two. Forgot to comment something there. No worries. Don't feel like you have to super chat again. I'll read it if you just comment a regular comment. I'll make sure and put it up on the screen. So we do appreciate the super chat though. But yeah, just comment regular. I'll kind of be glancing here so I can get you up there. Also, for people that are asking though, maybe next 5 or 10 minutes, something like that, I'll spin for the signed Saquon helmet. So for people that are
another giveaway,
about
Josh?
that, I know. It's just well, we got to do it. The people love the giveaways, and there's also a lot of people that have criticism on them, but loyal people to the channel. It'll be a Saquon Barkley signed helmet. Try to put the vibes out there. I feel like it's every single time I'm like, hey, if the Eagles win, we'll do this. So I kind of got to do something similar for if the Eagles win the Super Bowl. Would it be crazy? I'm thinking about this because you mentioned the birthday boys.
No, whatever it is, no, it's not crazy.
Okay, all right.
Go ahead.
What I was considering, I should do a giveaway where somebody, if the Eagles win the Super Bowl, somebody wins, randomly selected, obviously, but somebody wins maybe a signed Saquon helmet and a signed Coop helmet, or like a signed Saquon jersey and a signed Coop jersey, because it's their birthdays, right? So then you could say you have signed gear from Saquon and Coop that was you won it on the day of their birthday, the day the Eagles won the Super Bowl. I feel like that's like putting the positive energy out there like we should. I don't know, maybe I'm going crazy, but
hey, listen, the best of both worlds, offense and defense, get everybody involved. I mean, I'm sure they would love it. I feel like it's a no-brainer, right?
I mean,
Would your pockets love it, though?
Considering that, we'll just say that. Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. But we're considering that, so maybe we'll see. If again, like I feel like again because I'm putting it out there, it's like the Eagles do have to win. But like, if the Eagles win the Super Bowl, I feel like that's a good enough investment to make to say, hey, this is what I did.
It's a fair trade, right?
To try to put the good vibes out there.
You played your part. There you go.
Whatever works. Again, like we say that. Okay, a couple other super chats here. Let me make sure and hit on these. Where was that one? Tyler with another 5. Appreciate that, Tyler. Am I the only one who isn't sweating this matchup? We beat the Chiefs with trash offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator last year, and our D was terrible. I could easily see a 2-score win. See, the only one not sweating this matchup.
I mean, like I said, we were going to talk about our previews next week, but
we won't deep dive here. But just
a little bit of a look ahead. I'll just say this to keep it kind of nice and open-ended, I guess. I was thinking the same as that person that just sent that, thinking along the same lines as far as like score-wise. So
okay,
I'll just put that out there. I think
confidently speaking.
Yeah, I think the Eagles match up very, very well with the Chiefs, and I'll just leave it at that, I guess.
I can appreciate that. All right, we won't give away
the
the full, but
think the path that they've taken and the teams that they've played in the playoffs, like thus far in these last 3 games, has kind of helped them prepare for this matchup in particular. I feel like they were kind of tougher games, tougher opponents, different kind of looks and plays. And when you look back at 2022, I feel like they kind of got like an easy road where they really weren't tested too much as far as like games were just over before they knew it. Whereas the Packers, I said initially, were like, as far as like from top to bottom, just the way they played and even defensively, they've had the best performance against Saquon Barkley. So I think that's kind of a similar team to the Chiefs stylistically, and I feel obviously Patrick Mahomes is the ultimate like equalizer, but I think without going too much into it, I think the Eagles do match up well with the Chiefs.
Let's go. I'm kind of there, but you know me, because like sometimes whenever I pick the close score prediction, it helps us win in some weird, strange way. So you pick the bigger, like, hey, we're gonna win.
Well,
by
you surprised
10.
me last week, right?
And
You
I know, but that one, and I'm glad I did, obviously, because we blew them out. But that one, I just kept looking, because similar to like you're talking about here with the Chiefs, and you look at the schedule. We're not going to deep dive. We'll do that next week. But just very briefly, you look at that, and there's parts to it where I can talk myself into it and saying like, like common opponents or similar schemes, or like you're talking about there, I could very much see it. And I think it's also really good that you played the Rams and that they won the way that they did, because it's kind of a reminder, a wake-up call of like, that was incredibly close to a game that you lose. But but you show up and you're saying like, hey, look, we do need to take care of business, but we have the talent, we have the ability to do that. Offense needs to take advantage, more opportunities, and play better. But you play that complementary football. We definitely saw it against Washington. Still, the Commanders are not the Chiefs. Obviously, everybody knows that, and vice versa. But I don't know. Like, there's just a feeling of like in the Commanders for sure. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm not as concerned. I was a lot more concerned about the Rams. This one here, early, I'll probably change next week, but early, I've been like 24-20, like thinking more of a defensive battle, more of a lower scoring game. But again, that's not my official prediction. That's just
last time
very,
was a shootout.
very early.
You never know, right?
So yeah, it is like, okay, I could also talk myself into a higher scoring, and it wouldn't surprise me, I guess, if the Eagles were to win in I won't say blowout fashion, but like win comfortably, maybe by a two possession game.
It's just frustrating because the Chiefs, it seems like every time they play anybody, like it's always a close game. It always comes down to the end. So like, even if I feel comfortable and think it's going to be like a 2-3 score game, whatever, like it just seems like it's always going to be close, and Patrick Mahomes going to have the ball at the end, or it's just, I don't know. It's PTSD from, I guess, all these other matchups that the Chiefs have had this year, and where everything's kind of fallen in their favor. It's like something's got to give, right? At some point.
Yeah. You would think eventuly,
Hopefully,
because
hopefully
they
the
had
Super Bowl.
it's I know they've lost in between this, but I think, isn't it like 18 straight games that they've won by one possession? I think that was the number that I saw.
I believe
which
it.
is, like you would assume or think, out of the last 18 wins, couldn't they win one of those games by two possessions? Like, it can't be that close. It's impressive that they can win those, but you do also figure at some point that that it's like, all right, you're going to pay for that, because they haven't lost much. But I don't know, can the Eagles be the ones to get that? I will say, Eric, appreciate the super chat from earlier. I did see your comment here. Was asking or saying, if Jake loses us the game, does he become Philly's most hated? Or maybe disliked. It's
But yeah, he's had a good track record so far with kicking inside domes. He missed that 160-yarder in New Orleans earlier in the year, but outside of that, he's been pretty solid in the dome. So hopefully that keeps going.
Yeah, I agree. I hope that he can. I'm getting a little bit of barking there in the background, so you probably hear that. But Donut is pumped, I guess, about the game. He's just letting everybody hear it, all of his emotion. He would be disliked. Jake would be sure disliked. The missed extra points. Hopefully the dome does play a factor, like you say. But yeah, that's one of those. I'm just like, I don't know. I don't want it to come down to a field goal. Let's just say that it does not need to be.
But that would also be a
nerves.
cool ending too, as far as like him
It
struggling
would.
this whole
It
time
would.
and then making that kick.
But
obviously there's a flip side. They're like I said, I would love a nice, comfortable 2-possession game where you're not stressing at the end. Hey, I'd take a 55-22 or 23 again. That would be.
Oh yeah,
also.
yeah.
But it's just
win in
with the
blowout
Chiefs,
fashion. It
doesn't seem like that's.
No, I couldn't envision that, but it also, like, I mean, how insane would that be if we're sitting there going like, oh my gosh, we've blown out the Chiefs, no doubt, leave no doubt. Be pretty nice. Ryan with the 10 says, I love Geriatric Jones, best owner / GM the Cal Flops could have ever asked for, or could have ever asked for. Hasn't had those. Haven't had those dinguses in championship for what will be 31 years. Love it. Love everything about it. It's the gift that keeps on giving. That is absolutely what it is. Jerry
two of my
Jones,
close
the Cowboys.
friends are Cowboys fans, and it's just hilarious. One of them I work with, and he just like every time he gets an alert about like when they hired Schottenheimer or like things like that, it's just like his reaction. He's just so defeated. Like these poor Cowboys fans, they just don't know what to do.
It's never good news.
They've lost all hope. It's terrible.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's never good news. You're like, wait, did we really just do that? That's actually what's going to take place. Okay. Well, you just completely solidify it. So, Eagle 1 with the 2 says first touchdown pick with a question, says need to get my bet in. All right. The very early bet here. We got another week that we haven't really dug into the info and details and best picks and plays yet. At least, I don't know. I mean, I feel like eventually I will. I haven't given enough thought to this. Do you have you? Do you have a flyer, or is this just kind of a we'll wait on that one?
I mean, I did it like you said. We weren't really going to
we weren't going
a
to,
game
no.
preview kind of thing, but one player, just I'll throw it out there. Whatever, if you want to throw something on it now, I think Dallas Goedert's kind of been on a hot streak as far as making like pivotal plays, and he's on kind of a roll heading into like throughout the whole playoffs. That final game of the season's kind of carried over, so I think he's kind of somebody you can throw something on that might have much better odds than the other guys or better payout, however you want to look at it.
Okay, all right.
Not my pick though. But
not your official. Yeah.
Yes.
I'll just throw out a flyer then as well, since we're doing that. No official prediction or anything else. But Jalen Hurts first touchdown. I mean, can't really knock that one necessarily. I mean, tush push, maybe in a designed run. Who knows? But I think
maybe a 44-yard run again. That'd be great.
It could be. With the way that Spags does things sometimes, take advantage of a little over-aggressiveness or a blitz and, designed run to the opposite side. I don't know. Maybe a Jalen Hurts, so we'll see. Warriors Raider 2. Eagles have to win Eagles have to win too big to rig. That's if we get up by enough, yeah. The refs maybe aren't able to screw us. Who knows? I'll ask you about that actually in here 1 second because I was curious to get your take. And then, yes, we're going to spin for the Saquon signed helmet in flight. I think my bad maybe was what the comment. My bad. The only choice is Frank. It's Nick's best friend forever. That is a lot of comments there for sure. But, yeah.
That feels like the ultimate safe move for the Eagles where it's just like I don't think anybody would hate it. I don't think anybody would be ecstatic, but it was kind of like people were upset to see him go the first time. So now that we saw Nick Sirianni, how emotional he got that time that they beat the Colts, and he was like, that was for Frank Reich. Like he loves Frank Reich. But I also don't know how Frank Reich feels about being an OC or if he even wants to go through the whole grind of working in the NFL again. So, I mean, it makes sense on paper. It makes sense as far as their relationship goes. It's just a matter of if the Eagles want to go out of their comfort zone or kind of just want to be a little bit safer. But, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, especially for the longevity, like you say, and probably be there a little bit longer term. Hopefully, you could get Jalen Hurts like a consecutive offensive coordinator for 2 years, let alone 5, 6, 7 years, something like that. But
he would love that.
It'd be great. It'd be nice for him. We can't seem to get that. Okay, last question here that I'm going to spin because I did mention this beforehand. As objectively as you can, people may wonder about that, but if as objectively as you can, this has been a topic or comment of the Chiefs and being potentially benefited by refs calls and everything like that. Kansas City gets in high leverage situations. Seems like they get a decent amount of calls. Now, I recorded earlier today with Cole DeRuz of How About Those Chiefs. I'm sure some people have seen his channel. Great content. Cole's awesome. Appreciate him. But maybe a little bit of a not quite on the same page in terms of, and again, I'll see things through Kelly Green lens and he'll see things through red lens or whatever you want to call it there. But even though overall, penalty-wise, you can make the argument in case, say, well, they don't get more calls or it may be just a very slight, whatever. It's not like a drastic extreme difference. It's kind of like there's a benefit of the doubt, almost like in the NBA. When you become a superstar, you start getting calls that nobody gave you beforehand. And do you agree with that? Do you feel like they do? Or no? Is it not an extreme advantage or even, I guess, just an advantage for the Chiefs with the refs going into the Super Bowl?
Well, it's funny because like you mentioned, as far as if you look overall, they don't usually have much of an advantage, like penalty wise or yardage wise over their opponents. There are other teams that benefited way more like throughout the regular season as far as like that standpoint. But with the Chiefs particularly, like you said, they play such close games. So I just feel like these calls get magnified in these big moments where it's like 2 minute drive, they drive it to win the game, or the other team's trying to drive to win the game. It feels like they do play a factor, but I also think because they play so many close games that it feels like it's so much more like pivotal and it kind of magnified a little bit more than it should be. But I certainly think like a guy like Patrick Mahomes, whereas like with the roughing the passer and things like that, I feel like there's a big disparity with him getting those penalties compared to a lot of other quarterbacks, especially like the past couple of weeks we saw where he did like, it seemed like he was caught in no man's land. He kind of just slid down and still got the call, or he's going to the sideline, gets hit, where a lot of other quarterbacks, especially like Jalen Hurts, wouldn't get that flag. And I feel like he kind of sells it. But a lot of the star quarterbacks do that. There was Josh Allen was mic'd up a couple weeks ago where he just got pushed like the slightest bit after the whistle. And he was like, I think Jeffrey Simmons had pushed him. And he was like, hey, ref, we're not going to let him do that. He's not touching me. After like, so like that's just what comes with the territory of being like a star quarterback. Unfortunately, Jalen Hurts is kind of a guy that doesn't really care about like taking contact. He said the message, and I tweeted it out, kind of went viral, where the guy was from the Rams was making fun of his slide, and he was like, "Be careful what you wish for. Like I won't slide next time. I'll like hit stick you basically." But so I mean, it comes down to the quarterback mentality and them kind of searching fouls. I feel like the Chiefs definitely benefit from the refs more often than not in these pivotal moments, but overall, they also, I feel like if you look at it, they really don't have that much of an advantage. So it just sucks because if you do get in that situation, it feels like they win every time because of the refs. But it also would help if a team can just pull away and take care of their business and not drop passes and not have turnovers.
For sure.
And then
Yep.
you can't really have the refs. Like even like if you look at a sport like UFC where they say like just don't let it go to the judges' scorecards. Like don't let the refs make that decision. So if you can kind of pull away and leave it out of their hands, then I feel like that's where you don't have to worry about it. So hopefully that's what the Eagles do. But there's definitely some factors where the refs play in, but I don't know. It's not.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as egregious as people make it out to be.
Yeah, I totally, yeah. It's not as egregious. That is 100%. I would agree with that. It's just because of the subjectivity of the views, and you see, like, you even think about the Josh Allen. Did he get the first down? Did he not get the first down? Watching it, I thought he did.
Yeah.
It's impossible to know with the vantage point for sure when you get two different refs that are at different positions when they first line up, and then after that they're like, well, we're going to take the other ref. I get that the ref that was on the closer side, you lean towards his judgment versus the far side. I totally understand that. It does feel like, I had somebody comment this, I forgot the other day. It feels like that you could, especially for like where the ball should be spotted, it feels like in this day and age you could put some sort of like chip in the ball that doesn't impact it in any way that it's thrown, but it would for sure say first down or no first down. You just move on, go, and no issues. You're still going to have that. Overall, kind of to what you were alluding to, and this is the part that I do agree with, that Cole and I were talking about. Good teams find a way to win. Good teams capitalize and take advantage of big pressure moments. So even with all that happened, whether there was to the extreme, like someone wants to say, or like, some iffy calls, or no, it was fair on both sides. Dalton Kincaid, it was a tougher catch, but he could have very easily made that catch. And if he does, I mean, it felt like, you'd never completely rule out the Chiefs in a last-second situation, but it felt like Buffalo goes down there, scores, and potentially you're seeing them in the Super Bowl. But nonetheless, he dropped it, so, you move on. It didn't actually take place.
Yeah, that situation, like in particular, that first down was really sketchy, especially when they have like the Chiefs guy come from the Chiefs sidelines, what they went with, and the ball was still like, he couldn't even see the ball. Like that whole situation was definitely a little shaky.
Yeah. Little strange. You just see some stuff, but I know it's always going to stir up everybody. There's opinions on both sides. It's never going to be perfect. It's a perfect. You got human beings for one that are doing it. Everybody makes mistakes to begin with, and then you do it that fast, that high speed, high leverage situations, all the money involved and everything. It's never going to be perfect. But Anthony, appreciate the 5, says the fix is in. I heard they'll be calling holding on the Eagles to negate the effectiveness of Saquon. # stop the cheat. Let's not already go there. I mean, come on. It took forever to just get off the whole holding and James Bradbury and the field situation. Let's please not do this before the games even start. Like, come on. I appreciate not, let's make sure it's fair. We all want a fair game, right? May the best team win, but let's maybe not start that one already. In flight 215. Here's another one. The field should be managed by a third party and not Chiefs management. 2, I am expecting no holding calls on Jalen Carter. He doesn't seem to get as many as some other players, and I don't know if that's just him like not, trying to flail more like some defensive lineman or whatever it is. But there have been some, sure. I mean, everybody says you call holding on every single play, so they're not going to do that. But there's a couple egregious ones, that definitely come to mind that he didn't get the call on. He also took a shot to Tyler Biotish that did not get called. So, I mean, he didn't throw a punch, but he open-handed just smacked him in the face. He got grabbed in the face mask too. Like, it's both sides there. But, even one of them or both, usually you would see a flag get. So they miss stuff all the time. I don't know.
And he had like the eye poke, but the eye poke on him too, right? Didn't he?
Yeah,
that was a separate play as well. Yep. So like, I thought those are 2 spots where he could have been flagged, but he wasn't. So the Eagles benefited from the refs, I guess, a little bit too. So we'll see what happens.
It does go a little bit back and forth. We'll just admit that. I think everybody can. Warriors Rage with the 2. Last one here that I'm going to spin for the Saquon helmet. Hook up DeJean with a. Let's see. Hook up DeJean with a celeb for the NFL favor. LOL. Hook up DeJean with a celeb. Oh, a celebration maybe? Hook up DeJean with a celebration for the NFL favor? I'm not following. Do you understand what that means?
Nope. And I love your puzzled look whenever you read these.
I'm trying to, like, most of them make sense, and I'm like, I don't know what that is. It's probably me. It's probably makes perfect sense. Hook up DeJean with
the way you're reading it, it does not make sense. But.
With a celebration, it's CELEB. So like a celebration is what I'm assuming. Hook up DeJean with a celebration for the NFL or a celeb, maybe like a celebrity for the NFL, for the NFL favor. LOL. I'm totally with a celebrity, not a celebration. Hook up DeJean with a celebrity for the NFL favor. LOL.
Still doesn't make sense.
Like Taylor Swift for the NFL to favor him.
Even the dogs didn't like that one.
Like that. No, they didn't like that. It's probably because I was not trying to. I'm seeing the chat. It's delayed for me, so I'm seeing you guys. Yes, celebrity. I think it went completely past me. So yes, Mario, I'm seeing yours as well. Okay, I get it. DeJean and celebrity versus Travis and Taylor. I just didn't quite understand, like, why is DeJean the one that gets that of all people? Like, I don't know. Want to be like Saquon and a celebrity? I don't know. Or maybe because Coop is going to be on Travis Kelce. Who knows? I'm probably making this thing worse. So I'm going to spin for the Saquon helmet, and then we will wrap this thing up. I appreciate you guys as always. Okay, so let me, share the screen if I can. That's not the right one. There we go. Let's see. We lost Anthony for a second. He's still here, but just can't see him.
What? I'm here. You can't see me.
Well, I did it to myself because I did the screen share, so you're good. All right, so here is the deal for Saquon Barkley, signed helmet. Good luck all. And we'll see. Hopefully you're on here, but here we go. Out of the 4,500 comments, it is Quentin Wallace 8863 with a comment. A favorite part of the game was seeing Shipley score his first touchdown. We had a ton of comments about that. That was pretty legit. But Quentin, you have won. Congrats. Email me at thephillyspecialshow@gmail.com. I need to make sure that it's you, and then I need you to couple things I'm going to have to get you to do to verify, confirm that it's you, and I will send you the Saquon Barkley signed helmet, or you can message me on one of the social medias, DM there, whatever works, and I will get it to you. So congratulations. Hit me up. Hopefully Quentin's here. I'm not seeing him so far, but if he is, that would be great. Okay. Last one. Oh, wow. That was Daniel says, we hate you, Quentin. That's extreme. Last thing, as I'm going to monitor the chat and make sure that Quentin is not here, if I miss him. But on that comment, someone was saying their favorite moment was the touchdown by Shipley, of course. Did you have a favorite moment? And I guess thoughts on the Shipley touchdown because it seemed like he could have scored, but he kind of like stopped early. I wish he had. He was protecting
He,
the football, but
his stamina meter was going a little low. He could.
it
I
was.
appreciate
It's
him
true.
holding the football though. So I mean, he made up for it. He got in there afterwards. But I saw something that said like he's the first player I think, at least like this century, to get force a fumble and a rushing touchdown in the same playoff game. So that was pretty cool, especially like since earlier in the regular season he had that rushing touchdown taken away by, I think Nick Gates had like a holding call or something like that. So it was good to finally get him one, especially in that moment. I think the coolest part about it was Saquon Barkley's like reaction to it and how he just like ran onto the field and was going crazy with him. So that was really cool. But as far as like my favorite moment of the game, I think it had to be maybe that whole sequence to like end the first half where they get the touchdown, then they get the kickoff, the Will Shipley forces the fumble, and then they get the touchdown. Especially I think the mic'd up kind of made it even better, where you saw how crazy Jalen Hurts got after throwing that touchdown to A.J. Brown. Like he doesn't really show that much emotion, but between that and then he was dancing with A.J. Brown when he did the gritty or whatever it was in the end zone with A.J. Brown. You could tell he was having fun, but he was also talking a lot too. So I think when Jalen Hurts is in that mode, it's kind of when he's most comfortable. He made the straight jacket comment after the game, so he was having fun, and I think that's where you want him to be heading into this game.
Yeah, playing with a lot of confidence. I agree. And the Baun from Jordan Mailata, that comment there. You love the mic'd up footage, like that's always incredible. But you know, to do something like that, pretty legit. Daniel, I'm just giving you a hard time. He says, of course, I read the only negative comment that he says. I'm just giving you a hard time. But yes, he finally was. I was. Oh, Eagle One saying he was gassed. Yeah, as far as Ship, he was gassed. He did know about ball security. It still felt like because as soon as he put two hands, I mean, drastically slower,
even
obviously.
Even
but
in
like,
Madden, that slows you down,
you know, it's like he was bracing for it 5 yards before, maybe even longer than that before he gets hit. So. He still got his touchdown. So
he was probably looking up at the video board, saw the defender coming. He was like, "Oh god!"
It's a little bit like further. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear, except for that one. Maybe they're further than they appear. And so he's like, "Oh gosh, they're like right there." Okay. Let's see. Back underdog picks. Yes, I will have underdog picks. I haven't done it yet, so probably going to be next time, but next stream. I'll say that, which will be next Friday. But I'll have picks. I might have a couple others, but yeah, just stay tuned. Let's see. I got another one. Oh, here's the chat. I was trying to find it. Ricardo with the 5. Appreciate that. Says, I am about to put down $100, I assume, 100 on the Eagles, more or less. Does anyone know the odds or what will they be? I don't know the odds off the top of my head, but Hoop Beast, you got a membership. There you go. Congrats. It's got to be, I mean, close to even, right? I mean, like, because they were 1.5.
1.5. It is still 1.5.
Yeah. So the odds are. I'll find it really quick. Someone probably already answered him, but in case they did not, where are we at? It is Chiefs minus 128, Eagles plus 108. So yeah, I mean it's basically even, but plus 108 are your odds. Put $100 down, win 108 if they win. It's not the worst. Elias, appreciate that. Love the videos. Let's see, Ricardo, 10 more. Hey, let's go. Appreciate that too. Low key, have so much faith and confidence. The Birds will take it that I'm thinking about putting a band on it. Wow. I mean, you know, gamble responsibly. Let's just say that. But if you feel confident, sure. Not going to convince anybody to take anything specifically, but yeah, I like the confidence. I will not be held accountable though. So you got people saying, yeah, Daniel's not betting the spread at this point. Gray work, love the underdog odds, own it, lock it in. I'm awake or you scared money. That's what they say. Scared money don't make money. And this is the opposite effect, but the less you bet, the more you lose when you win. Just remember that.
That's a good way to look at it.
It's a dangerous way of looking at it as well, but there's your tip, I suppose, Ricardo. You got it, baby. Just Only what you can afford. Anthony with the 5 says, Mr. DeBona, I joined late. And we'll wrap it up on this one, I believe. But do the Cheats have anything on offense besides Kelsey and Worthy? So we're getting into a little bit more of game preview, I suppose. But the super chat there is, do the Cheats have anything on offense besides Kelsey and Worthy?
Well, the only person that would scare me, and this doesn't really make sense given how well the Eagles have played against the run and how poorly the Chiefs have run the ball, but I just think Isaiah Pacheco is such like an underrated running back, and the way that he runs and how physical he runs, like that'll always concern me because all it takes is like that Josh Jacobs run that he had against the Eagles in the first round. So Pacheco is kind of capable of running with that style and that power. So he'd be my only concern if all of a sudden it's kind of just like a death by a million paper cuts where they're just pounding the ball with Pacheco and the Eagles. They're just getting like 3-4 yards at a time, but they're just continuing to lean on the run, and eventually he would break one. So that would be my concern as far as weapons for the Chiefs.
All right. I like it. We will have more too. Again, just remember for people, we'll have more previews, breakdowns, everything else. But we got a week. We got a little bit more than a week, so we haven't gotten fully on board with that yet. But yeah, for picks, plays, predictions, thoughts, previews, matchups, all that, later next week. So
listen, I was ready to break out a whole mock draft today. I'm ready for
that's where that was the direction that this thing was headed. So close. We're not there yet. Again, just get through this, and then all of a sudden we're golden, right? You win the Super Bowl, get into the mock drafts, who the Eagles going to get, load up, go for a repeat. But yeah, let's take care of business first. So we'll get all the score predictions and everything else beyond that. But I can appreciate some of the confidence. I don't know if somebody just bet $1,500 or not. I'm following out afterwards, but I think that Gavin did. Maybe Gavin, if you did, good luck to you, sir. That's a lot, but more power to you. I'm confident. I believe the Eagles win. I just, I don't know that I'd be putting that much of my money on it.
Listen, you got all these giveaways that you're doing. You can't be betting all that
it's
money.
True. We go like both sides of this thing. Yeah,
you're betting helmets and jerseys over here.
It's I'm taking I think a lot of people have seen this. I'm sure I've taken the mattress max approach. So like if I put a decent amount, not that I'm anywhere near the amount, but if I put some money on the Eagles to win, then it's like, hey, there's a giveaway because when I win the bet, then we got some more money to give. So hopefully that happens. If they don't, then we'll see. But
then no giveaways for the whole offseason.
I mean, people will know we're down bad with the bets if that's happening. It's like, man, what's happening with Josh? I don't know. I put a little much on that game. Hopefully we win it. So, okay. I think I am going to wrap on that one, though. We appreciate all you guys. Again, shout out to Quentin Wallace. I don't believe I saw the comment here, but you got some time to claim it. And if I don't hear back from you in a week, I will be respinning. I'll be giving it away. Somebody on live stream. So hit me up. I will mention it as well. And like you say, 1 week away, a little bit over a week. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe. More videos coming soon. Eagles land in New Orleans Sunday evening, I believe. And then a week of all that prep work. Almost there.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see how A.J. Brown does his best impersonation of Alshon Jeffrey, hopefully. Because it seems like
give us nothing.
It might be leading that way, which I would love. So hopefully we get a little bit of that.
I hope so. I really hope so. Well, we will see. But again, appreciate all you guys. Anthony, thanks for coming on. Make sure to follow him at DeBona NFL. Make sure to spell it correctly. And until next time, you guys know what it is. Go Birds.